Living in a quiet, picture-perfect suburban neighborhood had always been my dream. The kind of place where every house is neatly manicured, the lawns are green, and the streets are peaceful. I had recently moved into a charming, two-story home with a beautiful backyard. The backyard came complete with a pool that, frankly, I'd been dreaming about my entire life. After years of apartment living, I finally had a place of my own, and the summer heat made it the perfect spot to host a pool party. I had planned this for months. This was going to be the ultimate pool party. Friends, music, food, and the kind of atmosphere where we could all unwind and have a good time. I'd sent out invites to my close friends, stocked up on snacks and drinks, and was ready to just kick back and enjoy the moment. The day finally arrived, and the sun was out in full force. The pool sparkled in the afternoon light, and the smell of burgers and chips wafted through the air. Everyone was having a blast, laughing, chatting, and splashing around in the water. But of course, it didn't stay perfect for long. I'd heard about the HOA, Homeowners Association, in this neighborhood. They weren't exactly famous for being lenient, but I didn't think much of it. I figured they had bigger things to worry about than a friendly pool gathering. I was wrong. Around mid-afternoon, as I was lounging in a pool float with a drink in hand, I noticed a woman standing at the edge of my... The party raged on, but I couldn't shake off the feeling that Karen wasn't done with me. After her dramatic exit, I figured I was in the clear. After all, I had every right to enjoy my own home, right? Yet, there was that nagging feeling in the back of my mind, one that whispered, "This isn't over." As the afternoon wore on, we were all having a great time. Laughter echoed around the pool, drinks were flowing, and the music was keeping the energy alive. I was too busy enjoying myself to worry about Karen's threats. But then, just as the sun started to dip behind the trees and the evening light turned golden, I heard the unmistakable sound of a car pulling into my driveway. I turned around and saw Karen's car parked right in front of my house. My stomach sank. "Oh no," I muttered under my breath. A few of my friends noticed too and exchanged uneasy glances. "She's back?" one of them asked. I could already tell this wasn't going to be good. We all watched as Karen stepped out of her car, now looking even more serious than before. Her purse slung over her shoulder and a stack of papers clutched in her hand. It wasn't just a complaint this time. It looked like she had brought backup. My neighbor, the one who had seen her earlier, came over to the fence and waved at me. "Hey man, you might want to keep an eye on her. I think she's called in the big guns." Great, I thought. She's escalating this. Karen marched over to the pool area with a sense of purpose. I could hear the click of her heels against the pavement as she got closer, and every step made me feel a little more uneasy. My friends started whispering to each other, and I felt a few of them edge toward the gate, ready to make a quick escape if things went south. I took a deep breath. The night had fallen, and the once lively sounds of the pool party had quieted down, but not in the way I had hoped. We were still hanging out, just trying to enjoy the last of the evening. I kept looking over my shoulder, half expecting Karen to come back with reinforcements or worse, a visit from the HOA itself. But so far, nothing. She'd left, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the end of it. It wasn't. Around 10 p.m., the doorbell rang. A sharp, urgent sound that cut through the calm evening like a warning shot. My stomach sank, and my heart started to race. I knew who it was. My friends exchanged uneasy glances as I stood up, wiped my hands on a towel, and walked toward the door. When I opened it, there she was, Karen, standing on my doorstep again. But this time, she wasn't alone. With her were two men dressed in suits. The kind of people who looked like they were in charge, but also like they could be lawyers or, worse, representatives from the HOA board. This was serious. "Good evening," Karen said, her voice cold. "I've come to inform you that you've been officially reported to the HOA board for violating several regulations. These gentlemen are from the HOA, and they're here to ensure that you comply with the rules." I stood there, stunned for a moment, trying to process what I was hearing. They were at my door, and now they were bringing in professionals to intimidate me? It was beyond ridiculous. I glanced at the men beside her. One of them was tall, with short-cropped hair and a stone-cold expression. The other was slightly shorter, but he had that look of someone who was used to dealing with disputes, someone who made sure people followed the rules no matter what. "You've got to be kidding me," I said, shaking my head. Karen, you've seriously brought the HOA to my doorstep? Yes, she replied, not even flinching. And we're not leaving until this situation is resolved. I could hear the music still playing faintly in the background, and I realized that my friends had all gathered near the windows, watching the confrontation unfold. This was beyond embarrassing. It was a public spectacle. But more than that, it felt like they were trying to make an example of me, trying to show that no one could defy the HOA, not even for something as simple as a pool party. I tried to remain calm, but I felt a surge of frustration boiling inside of me. This wasn't right. I wasn't the villain here. I had followed the rules. I wasn't being reckless. All I wanted was to have a good time with my friends in my own home. Listen, Karen, I said, standing tall and looking her directly in the eye. I get it. You've got a job to do, but you're taking this way too far. I'm not breaking any rules. I've read the HOA guidelines, and I'm not violating any of them. So what's really going on here? Karen opened her mouth to say something, but the taller man beside her raised his hand, cutting her off. He spoke with authority, his voice deep and unyielding. I understand that this may be a misunderstanding. However, we've received numerous complaints about disturbances coming from your property. We need to resolve this issue immediately. I wasn't about to back down now.